All right, thank you for joining us today for this episode of 15 Minutes with a Senior. I have Keaton here with me. And so, Keaton, introduce yourself.
I'm Keaton Goss. I'm a senior at the high school. And next year, I plan on going to UT Arlington to get a bachelor's in nursing. And that's what I want to do is I want to get a nursing degree and go to the medical field. So, yeah.
Okay. And so right now you're actually a CNA, right? At a nursing home. How has that been?
It's been pretty good. I got my CNA. I got the certification in January, but I actually was able to take a class to learn all the skills and everything. But I started a couple weeks ago, or actually, 1 week ago. I enjoyed it a lot. It's good to start from the bottom and work your way up because you start to appreciate things once you get a little higher. A lot of people don't like being CNA or they don't want to because they don't enjoy doing the dirty work, but I really don't mind because I'm just helping people out. So, yeah.
Has there been anything weird about going through working in a nursing home with the regulations and with kind of your procedures?
Yeah, we have to wear masks pretty much like every other workplace, but we also have to wear goggles. So it gets complicated when your mask fogs up your goggles every 4 minutes. But I feel bad for a lot of the residents there because they can't interact with each other too much. And if they do, they need to be separated and they also have to wear masks. So I can only imagine how hard that is, especially with the fact that most of them have a room to themselves and they have to eat in there and everything. So, yeah, life there has been affected just like the rest of the world. So.
How would you describe yourself, and is that different, you think, than people's first impression of you?
Well, I would say I'm a pretty confident and sociable person, and I'm pretty open with everyone. Uh, I'm pretty nice to everyone. I think some of the only things that people wouldn't really pick up about me is how much of a nerd I really am. I mean, I love Star Wars and comic books so much. But really, I'm a pretty open guy. I don't think there's a whole lot that people can't pick up about me, but maybe I don't bring up how much of a nerd I am because then I'd talk for hours.
No, and I think that is, with you being homecoming king, and a lot of the other, like, you can tell that you have the respect of your classmates. And for me, I knew you as a nerd, with the STEM club and everything like that. And it was really, really neat to see that you had the respect of your classmates. I think that speaks a lot to your character and who you are, because you are incredibly nice and you're not one that's in your face all the time and, who I would consider a prototypical, homecoming king. And like I said, I just think that speaks to who you are so much. Would you like to, I've been given an opportunity for students to identify people that made a difference in their life or that their teachings and examples that they will carry with them throughout the rest of their life. And so is there anyone that you would like to kind of give a shout out for forming who you are today?
Sure. So obviously my parents have shaped me in like the most fundamental ways possible. Mm-hmm. I literally wouldn't be here without them. And as I grew up, my family had me start going to Boy Scouts or Cub Scouts and then eventually Boy Scouts. And even though I'm not a part of those organizations anymore, they've shaped me a lot. And there's too many people to name, but the Fultons, especially, especially in Cub Scouts, they were my teachers pretty much 99% of the time. And throughout Boy Scouts, even though they weren't necessarily always my teachers, they were always there. And I can't say thank you enough to them because I don't know, even though like in the future, I may not know how to tie a square knot or whatever. I would not be like Boy Scouts contributed to kind of my confident leader side of me. Mm-hmm. Without Boy Scouts, I be like I am today. And so thank you to the Fultons and everybody who's helped me through Boy Scouts. And also, I don't think people give the ladies at Mother's Day Out and the Children's Wing enough credit, because that's some incredible stuff. Even though I may not remember every judge or whatever,
Right.
like everyone always focuses on the New Testament, and as important as the New Testament is, you need to know your roots. And a lot of the people in the Children's Wing and even the Bible class teachers, like when we get into the youth group, they help so much and they teach you so much. And they could just say one weird little phrase that just clicks just for you. It may not hit anyone else, but just for you. Like, I don't know. There's so many just weird things from VBS or Sunday night Bible class that Sandy said, and I'm just like, oh, I never thought about it that way. And so thank you to everyone who works in the Children's Wing and has been a teacher. Once again, there's way too many to say thank you to.
Right.
But,
thank you. I'm sure that their work often goes underappreciated, and so I know that they will appreciate that. I want you to look back at your high school, junior high career, if you can remember junior high. I blocked mine out. And what advice would you have for those entering junior high, those coming into the youth group? And then what advice would you have for those 8th graders who are going into high school next year, whether it's advice about actual high school life or about the change in the youth group from junior high to high school?
I don't really remember a whole lot about junior high either. And for most people, they don't, or they do, and they don't like it. But for a lot of people, junior high, they really didn't like it. And it's understandable because that's a really pivotal moment in like your childhood, as you're starting that process of becoming a teenager and becoming an adult. But I mean, just don't get involved in all the drama, and it's fine. Like, there's nothing good or bad about my junior high. It was just kind of there. I mean, be involved with stuff. Like, I was in band. I've been in band since the 6th grade, and like, it's just so much fun. And I know a lot of people don't join it if they didn't join it in 6th grade, but it just gives you like a jumping off point, and you're guaranteed to get some friends there. But yeah, and starting the youth group, I honestly don't remember starting the youth group at all. It just one day I was there, I guess. But don't be scared, don't be nervous. I mean, I do remember like some of the seniors when you're a 7th grader are huge, and they are huge, and you are small. But I mean, they're there to help you too. They're there to learn, so don't be afraid of them. Mm-hmm. But getting into high school, especially, once again, just don't be dramatic, and there's not a whole lot to worry about. But one of the most important things about high school is just being involved with clubs, organizations, band, choir, theater, whatever it may be, sports. I don't think about sports because I don't do them, but if you're just involved in even one thing, that just changes your entire high school experience. Because some people think that high school is just the worst, but I guarantee you those people weren't super involved. And I mean, when you're involved, you make some pretty great friends. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty lucky because most of my friends are going to colleges near me, so I hope to not lose them. But I mean, if you're just involved and you're hanging out with the right people, then you're going to have a blast. And the bridge between the junior high youth group classes and the high school youth group classes really isn't that big. You get to stay in the same room. That's really about it. But the same people there with you. You might have some different teachers sometimes, and you might get asked some little bit harder questions, but there's not really a huge difference. So.
This time, I know that you're working full time, and so it may not be completely applicable to you, but you're not spending a lot of time at school anymore. And so I think we've had more time just to reflect, and be on our own or not be in large groups. And so has there been anything about yourself that you've learned during this time about yourself?
Not a whole lot, but some of the things I already knew about myself have been solidified. Like I've known since at least the beginning of high school, if not sooner, that I'm definitely a people person, and I'm struggling right now. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people to interact with, and even just getting to chat with someone over video games is a relief to me. And I just miss seeing all my friends, and thinking about the fact that I'm not going to be able to just like stand in the band hall and have some sort of dumb conversation with my friends. It makes me kind of sad. But I don't know, this is more of a piece of advice, but it's the whole classic, you want to be an adult until it starts to happen. And it's kind of the same way. And I'm still caught in the middle, but I mean, like you said, I'm working a full-time job now, and I'm like, I just want to go home and like watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars, man.
Yeah.
It's tough. You have to figure out what you want. And so I might even just start working one job because I think I need some more me time before I have to be an adult. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Has your view of the future changed at all? You know, of how things will be, whether it's with our interactions or, you know, once things start returning to normal, what do you expect for that normal to look like?
Well, my plans haven't really changed. UT Arlington hasn't even postponed their new student orientation, but I'm sure they're going to within the next couple weeks. And we don't know. Maybe the fall semester will even be closed. But I'm still planning on going to Arlington to get my BS in, whether that's this coming semester or the year after that. But my plans are relatively the same. It's just the time frame might be a little different. And I know the world isn't going to be the same after this, but it's going to go back to similar to how it was. It's not like we're going to have to wear face masks for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Not, but
How do you think that you'll describe these times to future generations? What do you think will stick out? What'll be the lasting memory of this?
yeah, this year in general has just been kind of crazy. Everything from marching season to Australia literally being on fire to this coronavirus pandemic. The coronavirus pandemic is definitely going to be the most memorable for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't picture my senior year being like this at all. It seems like I started the senior year a couple weeks ago, but I mean, homecoming seems like it was my junior year. It's kind of crazy. But all the things that have been canceled are definitely going to be the most memorable because there are so many trips with my friends that we've been planning that either aren't going to happen or they're going to be pushed back. We're not going to get to go to prom this year. My class never got to do a senior prank or a senior skip day or anything like that.
Oh, you've done senior skip days. You've been doing it for about
2 months now. Every day is a senior skip day. Longest senior skip day ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just the whole virtual graduation thing is so weird. I can't compare it to an actual graduation because I don't know what it's like, but I know it's different than this. So
right.
I don't know. I guess I guess my grandkids and kids won't be able to complain about having to stay inside or anything because we've all been doing it for a month or two, and we're gonna have to keep doing it. So
right. My last question for you. I want you to, if you could go back in time and meet with any character from the Bible, who would that be and why?
I've always thought Paul was one of the most interesting, if not coolest, Bible characters, other than Jesus, obviously. Even though he wasn't one of the 12 or 13, depending on how you look at it. Like he still made such a difference. And just his turnaround in his story it always baffles me. Just how you could go from two extremes. But I think the thing that sticks out is no matter which extreme he was on, he was always trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether he knew he was doing, whether he didn't realize that he was doing the wrong thing, but he still was so devoted to his cause that, I mean, it was just impressive, like the war path he went on.
Right.
But yeah, if I could meet a Bible character, it would probably be Paul, just to know his experience when he realized how wrong he really was. I think that would be really humbling.
Yeah, I think humbling is a good word for that. Well, I thank you for your time. I thank you for all that you've done with the youth group, and you lead singing, and you led devotionals, and and you do so much, and for all you talk about CNA and band. You're involved in so much, and you put your all into that, and I appreciate that. And so I just wanted this time that the congregation would get to know you a little bit better, and hopefully as a way to honor you during this strange time. And so thank you for your time of spending with me for this interview.
Of course.